What's going on? Dylan Conrad, DC Fitness. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the weight loss drug, Liraglutide Saxenda, that I tried, my experience, why I did it, all that stuff. Before I get into that, if you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, turn notifications on. All helps the algorithm. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, do the same. My goal is to help more people like you, more people I can get this out to, more reviews, the better. So anyway, I've been like super hesitant to even post anything about this. Because this is a weight loss drug, right? And it's like, okay, why are you trying it? Guy that's like already in pretty good shape and, proposing that we need to have sustainable nutrition models, this and that. And if you've been following my stuff for a while, like I'm not private, like at all. And it's just not me to like hold stuff in and not talk about what I'm doing, what I'm experiencing. And I wanted to try this because this, if you're not familiar with what liraglutide or GLP-1 agonists are, basically it was started as diabetes medication, and what they realized and they started studying it for was weight loss medication. And it suppresses your appetite, it slows down stomach motility, so like the amount of food that you have in your stomach stays in there longer, and it also makes you satisfied a lot earlier and a lot easier in your meals. I know like a lot of times I'll eat food and I'll be like, that wasn't satisfying, but like on this stuff, it's really satisfying right away. And so the reason why I want to try it was because this is like the biggest research study. Everyone was going crazy over it because it was the biggest and most significant rate of weight loss with this intervention. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it out. And what it is, there's a couple different ones, but they're all under what's called a GLP-1 agonist group. And so there's ones that you can administer daily, which is what I was taking, the Liraglutide by Saxenda. Looks like this if you're watching this on YouTube. Sorry, if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, it's basically like this long blue pen. And the pen comes off, you put a little like insulin needle on there, which I'll talk about in a sec, and you kind of jab it and you inject. So they have the liraglutide, which is administered daily. They have the semaglutide, which is administered weekly, and the dulaglutide, which I think is like every other day or once every couple days. I'm not really positive, but I know the semaglutide and the liraglutide are the most popular and the most researched, so I tried the liraglutide. So I wanted to try it because I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. If you guys know me, I'm like a big nerd and I love to nerd out on research. So like when this came across, I was like, okay, this is insane. I gotta try this. These results are like absolutely crazy. The whole weight loss research field, medical field, was going nuts over it. I asked my doctor about it and see if he'd heard, and he's like, yeah, I've been prescribing it to patients already with like really great results. So I was like, okay, all right. Now I gotta try it. And so my experience, I was trying to research like prescriptions and how much it would be, and it was like anywhere from like 800 to 2,000 per a month supply. And I was like, okay, that's insane. I'm not going to get that. So I found some in Turkey for $300. If you look at this package, it is not in English. So I found a Turkish pharmacy, $300. For a month's supply, so I tried it out. I was like, okay, yeah, that's expensive, but it's not like it was. And I want to try this out because, like, there's a genetic reason that for obesity, right? Obviously, like when people say like it's not all their fault, like it really isn't, right? If you look at genetically, they probably have genetically larger stomachs, so it takes them a lot more food, a lot more volume to get full. Lower satiety, so it takes them a lot of food to feel satisfied, and then probably just like lower dopamine, so like they need these dopamine hits from food all day long to feel good, right, to feel right. And so I do believe in that, right? And there's people that are coming in through my program, the mamas program, my metabolic mamas, they're usually undereaters, and they have the opposite, right? But if we're talking about overeaters and being in a caloric surplus and that causing the weight gain, then I was like, okay, this is really interesting. So the research was that they were taking these injections of liraglutide or semaglutide, but they also had diet interventions. And I thought this was really important because I actually talked to someone the other day that tried liraglutide, and she's like, it didn't do anything, you know, it suppressed my appetite, but like after day 4, I was right back on the same thing that I was doing. And I was like, yeah, because you didn't have a diet model that you were following. So I was really interested in like, okay, you can do this with a diet model, that's great, you know, be in a deficit. But the research showed that everyone that did this gained all the weight back, right, or most of it, right when they got off the drug intervention. And this is really obvious to me, but probably not for a lot of people out there. You know, when you're in a caloric deficit and you're eating down here, what happens to your metabolism over time is that it slows down to meet the caloric demand. So what we need to do is basically go through what we call our metabolic priming phase, which is basically increasing calories structurally, increasing metabolism structurally, while keeping that low body weight, that set point, while that so the weight doesn't go up. Because if you just did it like, you know, 0 to 60 and just start eating a ton of food right away, that'd be a caloric surplus. But if you do it slowly and the right way and under supervision and structurally, then you're able to increase that metabolism without affecting that weight, that set point. So that was a big thing. I was like, okay, people, you know, are doing this and like gaining weight back because they need to go through like a metabolic priming phase. So I thought, okay, if they could do this properly with a reverse diet, it would actually work and have sustainable solutions. So my experience, so I took it. I hate needles. Like I fainted from just like getting my blood drawn. So like that was a big thing for me to get over. But the needles are like really small. They're like, I think like 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch, like insulin needles. And so that sucked. But I jabbed it into my thigh. Over a while, I got kind of used to it, so it wasn't as bad. Appetite suppressed. I noticed when I was eating food, I was getting fuller a lot quicker. I was also feeling satisfied a lot quicker. And it was really interesting because I was never hungry, you know, and I'm like usually hungry all day long. So I was like, I had nothing to really look forward to, I felt like, in my day, because I'm usually looking forward to like trying different foods and meals and all this stuff. So it really got me to not think about food as much, but also it like got me excited to try the taste instead of getting like a physiological or psychological reaction to the actual food that I was eating, getting that satisfaction. So that was really interesting. In the research, they say nausea, vomiting, dizziness, headaches, all this other stuff. I didn't feel any of that stuff. I felt fine. I felt energized. I didn't have to increase my caffeine or anything like that. So I didn't realize I didn't have any of that stuff. So yeah, all in all, it's like pretty good. I was still following my macros from my coach, and I didn't feel any side effects, and it just helped me stick to my nutrition easier, which I was already sticking to. Would I recommend this to clients? Absolutely not, because the reason is we give them diet models that are really sustainable and really easy to do. So they can have 100% adherence. So we aren't really running into that case where they need something like this to stick with their diet model. And it's kind of like masking the problem too. Would I recommend this to anyone that needs to like be in a very low calories to get surgery in 6 weeks and lose a very, very significant amount of weight? Probably in that situation, yes, I would say yeah. But we're not really about the quick fix. I don't like fast weight loss. I like slow, sustainable progress. So I wouldn't recommend it to my clients, but anyone out there that's like, you know, medically supervised and needs to do it for like surgery or something like that, doctor ordered, maybe that would be the situation I would recommend it in. But yeah, so that was my experience. That's if I would recommend it to you or to clients. You know, if you are doing it for whatever reason, you need to make sure that you have a diet model that you can follow in relation with that. Because if you're just taking it and expecting it to just make you eat less, yeah, I'll probably do that. But the metabolic effects from that, the negative metabolic effects of just like it tanking, probably the hormones because you're not eating enough food, nutrients, all that stuff, like you need to do it under supervision and like with a great diet model. So I would say like get a coach, obviously. Cool. So yeah, I just wanted to give you my experience with the liraglutide, the GLP-1 agonist, Saxenda, and lay it out there. Yeah, hope this was interesting for you to hear. It was interesting for me to do, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day wherever you're listening to this or watching this. Love y'all, and rock and roll.